Welcome to an inspiring journey with stars who make a difference. I'm Wanda Malhotra, lifestyle journalist and CEO of Crunchy Mama Box, a platform promoting conscious living. Today's interview is part of a powerful collaboration with Authority Magazine, a medium publication that delves deep into topics that truly matter. Today, we will have the pleasure of speaking with Fabiana Saba Sutton, Fabi Saba, a Brazilian TV host and model who has graced the pages of the world's top women's magazines and became the face of major Brazilian brands. Notably, she fronted the first Maybelline campaign in South America. Her illustrious modeling career saw her strutting the runways in Paris, New York, Tokyo, and Milan for prestigious designers. As a television host, Fabi made her mark at Rede TV, hosting popular shows such as Interligado and Super Pop alongside Otávio Mesquita. Beyond her professional achievements, she is a passionate advocate for women's rights, continually striving to make a positive impact in the world. Now, Fabi is set to share her exciting new projects with us. Thank you so much for doing this with us, Fabi.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Thanks. Our readers would love to get to know you a bit better. Can you tell us your origin story, the story of how you grew up?
Yes, I grew up in São Paulo, which is a very urban city in Brazil. And I always wanted to be on television or to be a model. And funny enough, it came from actually being bullied. Um, I was very skinny and very tall very, very early in a time that it wasn't yet like eventually became fashion, because that's how fleeting fashion is. At one time it is, one time it isn't. And people called me Carrie from the movie. And then I was like, well, one day I'm going to be on television or I'm going to be a model and I'm going to show them. And so that's how I started. I started going after it and begging my mom for pictures. And then once I did my first professional pictures, then it went really fast from there.
Wow. Can you imagine that? They were making fun of you, and now you're this superstar model and beautiful. Kids. Can you share a story with us about what brought you to this specific career path? You already did, but something specific, not from your childhood now.
Yeah, well, it starts from the insecurities, which I think it's like where a lot of models come from, and all that idea of wanting to be seen. But also traveling is something that I always wanted to do, and have a job that I could be creative and free and see the world. And I think that all that combined really made it attractive. But I was very young when I started. So the reasons were also made for somebody that young, you know. As I grew older and continued thinking about it, then I realized, especially when I started television, is that there was so much more than just being seen. And it was the fact that if you're being seen, then what are you doing with this space that you have that you're being seen at? And that's when I started thinking better about how you can use, modeling, television, all those things to something bigger.
I love that. So it has been said that our mistakes can be our greatest teachers. Can you share a story about the funniest mistake you made when you were starting? And can you tell us what lesson you learned from that?
I think the funniest mistakes I've made all had to do with like not caring for myself, and coming and showing up to work with my nails not done and my hair all like still from the other day, because you're modeling, you're putting a lot of things in your hair, and getting places and making it impossible to do the job, because transformation, you have to be like a canvas, but I didn't even think about myself yet as a product, which is what you are when you're modeling. So I think that a lot of times I show to places, they would be like, okay, we're going to need like an extra hour just to kind of figure out what's happening. And I've learned that taking care of myself is not something. I used to be so much like, me, why am I going to do my nails and my does, but it's not selfish. It is also selfless. Taking care of yourself for my work meant that I was ready to work, but it also meant for myself that I was ready to become a person at my work, to join my work, and to be fully present there.
That is so true. Is there a person that made a profound impact on your professional life? And can you share a story about this person?
That's a hard one. Like I said, because I started so young. The first person that impacted my life was Shusha, because she was on television, and I recognized myself on her because we looked kind of alike in a way, because we're both blonde and green eyes, and I think that impacted me. And wow, this is what I want to do. I want to shine like her. Um, but then at the same time, again, that's an impact on a 13-year-old. That's the age I started working, right? Later on in life, I think the impacts were done by people that use their image for activism.
Mhm.
As many models have done later, as many photographers, so many people now do it. And I think that I can't think of a name now. But like, there's so many girls that switched that and proved to models and to everybody that you could use that.
Wow, 13 is very early. You
Yeah.
started as a baby.
Yep. Yep.
How are you using your success to bring goodness to the world? Can you share with us the meaningful or exciting causes you're working on right now?
Um, I've I've used it mainly not always to one specific cause. I try to use the space to bring awareness to things that people don't want to talk about. Um, for a while, I used it to talk about body image because that's something I was struggling with, and I wanted to help the people. Like, I was helped by the internet when I started struggling with body image, and I realized, wow, they have the power to do this, and now I have the space, and I want to give this back. And I think there's a lot of things that having a voice can do. And you can help from little things of something specific that is happening right now, to raise money for something specific and to talk about something specific, but also to bring to light things that people don't want to talk about. So I try to, like I said, like body image, but with everything that has to do with what you see in media and how people are perceived. So, racism, to talk about things that are bigger and that can be talked about within the fashion world or the beauty world, and all those things. They all like intersect with one another. So I think that having that space brings that a lot.
That's beautiful. And I have to say, I have been following your work for years and years, decades, I can say, and your page on Instagram. And I really love what you stand for and women's rights and discrimination. And I just love how you use your voice to impact so many. Thank you for this work you do. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Can you share with us a story behind why you chose to take up this particular cause or causes?
So I think the cause with when it comes to self-esteem was because I was struggling with my own self-esteem. And like I said, I was helped by people that were sharing their own story, and I realized the power that story sharing has. And then all the other causes that came to me that were important to talk about, like LGBTQ, or racism and all those things, to me came to a point of, I'm here, people can listen to me, right? They see me. And a lot of times people might relate to me, so they will hear me, which is something that I think a lot of white people and a lot of people that have any type of privilege has to think about is, if you have an image that other people will listen to, then use that voice. And then if you have the platform, even more, you know.
Exactly. That's powerful. People will listen to you and you can help so many through your voice. So, can you share a a specific story of a person who was impacted by your cause, someone that reached out to you and said, "You changed my life," or "This made a huge difference in my life"? Do you have someone, a specific person that came up to you and said, "This was what you did changed"?
I get a lot of messages on Instagram, especially when I was talking about body image. And I've had a lot of women that would come and say, I just started using shorts because of you, and I hadn't used shorts in years, or bathing suit, or when I was struggling specifically with getting into the pool with my children because I didn't feel comfortable with my body. And I started talking about it and putting bathing suit and showing and doing my own thing. And I got a message from a mom that said, it changed her life because she felt confident to go in and enjoy her kids as opposed to be worried about other people judging her. And that change was a big change for her. And her children were still small. So she was like, well, I can really be there and participate. And that made me very happy because there's a lot in my life that I didn't do because I was insecure and worried about how people perceived me.
That's amazing, Fabi. That's amazing. And it's so true. We pay attention to things that are small and we just forget about what's way more important and bigger in our lives, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, can you list three things that individuals, society, or the government can do to support you in this effort?
I think one thing is for individuals to use their platform, especially if they have a voice, and not to just shy away because they're afraid of losing followers or being, use your voice for things that you believe in, whatever cause it is. It's very important. For government, I think it's important to be on top of, influencers and bloggers and people on the fashion world with what image we are putting in there. And they are, but it goes back and forth. People talk about it, and all of a sudden you see diversity of every possible diversity. And then people don't talk about it for a little while because they forget we need a law that enforces it and not for companies to just do it while it's good for their pocket.
Exactly. It can't be just marketing, right? It has to be real, authentic.
Yeah, exactly. Well, three things you said. Am I missing
It
one?
can be three things or it can be one thing, but you did talk
Yeah.
about society, individuals, and the government. So whatever you choose.
Yeah, no, that's good.
Okay. So now this is our signature question that we ask in nearly all of our interviews. What are five things I wish someone told me when I first started and why? And if you can, please share a story or example for each.
I think one thing is, yes, you're young and everything is fun, but pay attention to the money. It is a business, it is a career, and a lot of times people forget that in this world. And it's not forever. It's not a career that is forever. So pay attention to the money, pay attention to who's taking care of you, who's taking care of your finances, because this is a big deal for any profession that you start young.
Mhm.
The other thing, be more focused in work than social life or boys or girls, whatever person. Like, I think it's important that also I'm speaking for a perspective of people that start young, and that you realize that everything else is temporary. When you focus on your work, you create the base for everything else later. So I think that's very important. I was in Paris one time, and I had done all the fashion shows. I've done most of them. Besides like one or two, it was the top of my career in Paris. I was 17 years old, and the agencies were all excited because all magazines were calling for me. And I went after a boy to Japan and completely derailed my career to a point where, that had passed afterwards. And I think that's a lot of people do that. Let me see. Learn from those with more experience than you. We all feel like, well, maybe somebody's older, so I know more because I know what's happening now, and I know, and I'm the moment. And the person that has more experience than you felt that way and then learned the hard way, and they can help you to go through this without having to go through the hard way, because life is tough. And once you feel that you know everything, that's when you fall and crash. Um, Learn to say no. Learn to say no. Just, you feel something is not for you, it's not the last opportunity in your life. Just learn to say no. And I think there's a lot of jobs that now I would have said no to, and that I said yes because I was afraid of losing the opportunity and then the person not wanting to work with me again or this or that. And then in the end, I lost other opportunities because I was doing something that I had already said yes to, and I was already. So learn to say no, follow that instinct, and put yourself first, and learn to say no. The only competition you have is yourself. And that goes to every possible place in your life. And I think it's if when you compete with other people, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. When you're competing with yourself, you're finding actual ways to grow and to be better than you were yesterday, and better and better. So you have to focus on that, and you have to focus like, how can I perfect this thing that I'm not feeling good? Like in modeling, for example, or on television, like, how can I perfect this pose, or how can I perfect this walk, as opposed to, well, that person walks and I have to compete with her, and I want to walk better than her. But then you're walking like her. So, but that goes for everything in life. You don't want to walk like other people. You want to perfect your own walk in life. And I think that's important.
Those are very wise words for any career at any stage in life. This is really important to remember for everyone who's starting a new career, who's changing, switching. That's amazing. Thank you,
Thank
Fabi. Thank you
you.
very much for that.
Thank you.
Now, can you share with our readers any self-care routines, practices, or treatments that you do to help your body, mind, and heart to thrive? Please share a story of each one if you can.
Oh, I'm Brazilian. So drenaging, draining, right? We do these massages that you drain the toxins out of your body. And it helps in so many ways. It helps your body, but it also helps your health and your mind. So that's definitely one that I think is very important. I like to take long showers for my mental health. And then I take care of myself. I'm there. I do like the hair and I do the exfoliating, and it's my moment without hurrying myself to do anything. And that's very important to me. And for my heart, I just try to more and more enjoy the people in my life. As opposed to, I have to go to this place because it's important for my career. Yes, those are important, but can you also take a break and just sit down and have a dinner or watch a movie with the people you love, with your friends, with your family? And that will do wonders for you. I always say, like, this is great. You wake up prettier and you're feeling better, and it's so simple.
I love that. And I'm Brazilian too, as you know. So the drainage I love. And I think Brazilians are very like, everything that's heart centered. We pay attention to that a lot. And that feeds our soul, right? Taking
Yeah.
care of our heart.
Yes, exactly.
So you are a person of enormous influence. If you could inspire a movement that would bring the most amount of good to the most amount of people, what would that be?
Think would be a movement of look at yourself in the mirror. And it would be about, as opposed to trying to change the world, how can you change yourself for the better? How can you become a better person and add to the world? Where are you failing? Are you a person who, you know, um, acts a certain way, or are you a person who's racist but don't see it because you think you're a great person? Are you a person who can, there's so many things, and I think that's the movement I would do. I would do the movement, look yourself in the mirror and change yourself before you can change the world.
I love that. Can you tell us now about your new project that's coming up tomorrow, right? Is the launch?
Yes.
May 22nd.
So it's called What's Up New York. And me and my best friend for 30 years, who was also a model in the 90s, Tatiana Brassos, we go around and we show New York, but it's not like a tour guide or anything. It's more like, come experience it with us. Like, if you're here and you're doing this, and we're going to see the kitchen in the restaurant, not just show you the best restaurant. We want to see how things are done, and we want to see interesting things that nobody knows about New York, all mixed. So we want to bring the person with us, as opposed to making it so only the people that can come here can enjoy it. We want everybody to be able to enjoy it.
I love that. And is that going to be in Portuguese and English, or which language? And it's going to be worldwide, right? Because you're going to launch it on Instagram.
Yeah, at first it's going to be in Portuguese, but we are considering very fast and very soon to start doing it with subtitles in English.
Oh, awesome. That is so exciting. I can't wait to see
Thank
this project
you.
come to life.
Thank
So,
you.
this is what we call our matchmaker question, and it sometimes works. So, is there a person in the world whom you would love to have a power lunch with and why? Maybe we can tag them and see what happens.
Funny enough, it's somebody who's not from my time. It's not a person that I would have ever thought of, because I didn't know him when he was famous for being an influencer or blogger. I don't know, but I learned about this person when he started talking about politics. And his name is Felipe Neto. He's Brazilian. And one thing that I really realized that I like about him is that he comes and he's changed, and he was unafraid to change and become someone else. He was unafraid to learn, and he's unafraid to say things that he thinks will make a difference. And I would like to have that courage, and that's something in him that I like. And it's funny because I would sit here and tell you so many other people like that I absolutely love and would like to sit with, um, especially politics, like Bernie and other people that I love that I would love to sit down. But when I thought about it, just having a simple conversation and learning about courage, courage to change and courage to come out and say things. Doesn't mean he's always right or that he's perfect, but it means that we all could use this courage and learn to use our space for better.
I love that. I'm going to follow Felipe Neto, right?
Yeah, he was somebody, you're like me, you live here. So we didn't know about him. I only learned about him, like I say, he was already super famous, had millions of followers. I had never heard of him because he was for teenagers, I think. But once he started talking about stuff that were uncomfortable for people, I started noticing him and I appreciated him.
I love that. I love people who speak the truth and put a little bug in your head like to so you can think a little bit more of something that you never thought about before or another perspective. I love that. Okay, so we'll tag him and tell us you're obviously on social media. I follow your Instagram page, but give us all your social media handles. How can our readers follow you online, websites, everything?
On Instagram, I'm at Fabi Saba, and I am at the What's Up New York. Um, I'm in Twitter. I'm on Twitter also, Fabi Saba. And I'm trying to build, but not really done yet, for a TikTok. My kids got me into trying to do that to also show New York there, but in a different vision. But it will probably also be at What's Up New York.
I think TikTok is a tough one for our generation. I don't know about like for me, it's it's hard.
I tried to go in there before and I was like, I have no idea how this worked. But with the New York thing, everybody was like, do it, do it. So let's figure it out if we are gonna work on that.
It will be cool to see you on TikTok too. Thank you so much. This was so informative, and we wish you only continued success, Fabi.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And I need to talk to you afterwards off to learn how you have this beautiful skin. I please, yes,
Oh,
I want
thank you.
all the dicas.
It's all the crunchy products.
Love it. You
Tell
look
you.
amazing. I want to know
Thank
everything. Please share with us and me and the readers and everybody. Thank
I will. Thank you so much, Fabi.
you.